Brayden Krakowski closing it out for the St. John Bosco Braves, 7-4 over the Orange Lutheran Lancers in the first of 3 games here in the Trinity League. It doesn't matter what happens in North Carolina. St. John Bosco is the gold standard in the Trinity League. 5 in a row against Orange Lutheran, going back to 2024. And I'm sure a game that it's always circled on the calendar for you guys, but probably had more motivation and more inspiration, coming off what you guys did in North Carolina, what they did in North Carolina, and 3 innings of scoreless relief. As I just said to your man James Clark, I almost felt like it was unfair. You were rolling so much, and then all of a sudden, a couple of unfortunate bounces, and all of a sudden Brady Murrietta's up there as the tying run in a 7-4 game with 2 outs in the 7th. But just what were you really looking to do in terms of attacking him? Obviously you have to be present and in the moment. Knowing that he's a guy that is capable of tying it or really impacting the game in one swing, and then you got Weinstein on deck is the same way. What were you and the catcher and coaching staff really locking in on there?
It all goes back to the preparation we put in practice every day. That's what makes us so wonderful, and that's what makes us so competitive with other teams like Orange Lutheran. And when Brady Murrietta stepped to the plate, I trusted myself, I trusted my coaches, and we're going to attack him. We're not going to be scared of him. There's no need to be scared of him. And that's what we did. We attacked him, got back in the count, and we got a pop out.
Absolutely. To that point, obviously you got the huge pop out to end it, but just in terms of you just restoring that belief and that faith and that confidence and that trust. How big was it for you to battle back with that 2-0 pitch? To not put yourself in a position where now I could be walking the bases loaded and facing Weinstein.
No, it was absolutely imperative, to come back in that count. But I trusted myself. I trusted what my coach said to me. We're gonna attack him. Let's not be scared of him. Let's not beat ourselves. Right. That was the main message, and that's what I did. Most
definitely. In terms of what Cole was able to do, right? For 2 teams of this elite caliber to see 3-3, and especially in the fashion that it occurred after the first inning was very uncharacteristic of both you guys. Yeah. But the fact that he was able to throw a lot more pitches and eat up a lot more innings, and you guys didn't have to, especially in the first game of 3 games, right? Course, yes. Where you guys didn't have to, put 4 or 5 arms out there. How valuable, regardless if it was going to be 4-3 or 4-4, whatever, but that he got deep enough into the game that it kind of still keeps your rotation honest for these next 2 days. How proud were you of what he showed?
I was incredibly proud, but that's what we preach as a pitching staff, is just to compete with what bullets you have and just go after everybody, and let's not beat ourselves. Let's trust our defense, and let's do our thing. First pitch strike, leadoff outs. That's all we would go for.
Most definitely. Obviously, you guys did not give them a ton of opportunities, but you guys, on the other hand, got 9 walks and 3 hit batters, and got some bunts down, whether it was sacrifices or fielder's choices and whatnot. How proud were you of the execution, overall, from getting 4 consecutive walks to get it started to James coming through with a huge bases clearing double?
Yeah, no, I was incredibly proud of the resilience that we showed. It's hard to get off a flight, have one practice day and then just go right back to it. But it was really good that we showed up, we showed out, we took competitive at bats, and we just played our game, played with our energy, stayed with our guys, and that's what led to us winning today.
Brayden, obviously I know there's a tremendous amount of pride, especially with what the group accomplished last year, section-wise and regional-wise, and certainly, like I said, you're still the gold standard in the Trinity League until somebody tells us otherwise. But with the performance that probably left nobody satisfied and nobody fulfilled coming back from North Carolina, the fact that these guys were in front of you, and I think it's almost kind of a fool's errand to say anybody's the number 1 team in the country in late March, because there's just so much talent and so much parity, and so does it mean now that because you guys beat them today that you're back to the number 1 team in the country? That will be decided in May when it matters most. But I say this from the fact that the level that you guys are capable of playing at and the standard that you guys hold yourselves to, and with them coming off winning those 4 games and winning a 4th title in North Carolina, it just seemed like it couldn't have been the more ideal scenario for you guys motivation-wise to be like, yes, we'll go to Hart Park, and whether we play them in the afternoon or the evening, it just seemed like even like you said, after coming off a flight and 1 day of practice, this was the opponent that was most ideal for you guys to kind of restore order. Is that fair?
Yes, it was, absolutely. We got off our flight, you know, we got to bounce back, and that's what we said we were going to do. We came back, came out, showed out, and we played really good baseball today.
You did played fantastic. Again, 3 scoreless innings, and a 7-4 victory in the first of 3 games in the Trinity League battle with St. John Bosco and Orange Lutheran. Brayden Krakowski, fantastic job, man. Congrats.
Thank you, sir.